Hello, and welcome to a shaving corner with Benny. You see, recently Gillette, the wonderful Gillette, I don't know how these got here. It's almost like they were conveniently placed to remind you that Gillette has a Justice League line of razors coming out. They flew me out to see the Justice League premiere. And it was, how do you say, legendary. Old people like myself will get that, as that show has been off the air forever. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the Justice League movie. Spoiler free, because, I mean, I'll tell you guys up front, there's not much to spoil in the movie except for Easter eggs. So there's no reason for me to give you spoilers, because I'm just going to talk about jokes I enjoyed and things like that. So let's just talk about the movie as a whole and not really spoil anything. First off, maybe I enjoyed it more because I went in there with very low expectations for the Justice League movie, but I went in there kind of expecting, like, it's gonna be Suicide Squad, Batman, maybe Superman. I'll find the moments that I enjoy, I'm gonna watch the movie, and then I'm gonna leave it being like, oh, well, they could have done better. Before you go into it, I am gonna say, the movie is not without problems, okay? The CGI is a little very spotty at times, and the pacing in the movie is really sped up. That being said, I enjoyed the ever-loving crap out of that movie. It was a superhero movie that, like, when Marvel was, like, in their prime, when we had the Avengers, where, yes, we had some funny jokes. There was stuff that made you go, oh, that was awesome. Oh, that character's acting out of character. Oh, this is epic. But they would then put it aside and give you the epic superhero moments, the moments that you want in a superhero movie. From the fights to the moments between the characters, the interactions, the battles that happened. I was watching that in every moment of that movie. I was excited to see what's going to happen next. Yes, you could find problems with the CGI, and yes, the pacing was fast. That's one major complaint I had about it. They made sure to give you all of the core elements you needed to understand every single one of the characters and their motivations. And they did not waste any time for you to think about it. They were like, here's the Flash's motivations, and now he's on the team. Here's Wonder Woman's motivations, and now she's on the team. And you're like, okay, I get it. Okay, cool, I get it. If you have to take a pee break, you don't get a pee break in this movie. You just don't get it. It's 2 hours of just non-stop hitting every single beat you need to hit. There's nothing like really unexpected in the movie, but it's what we really needed from a WB DC movie at this point. We needed just a solid superhero flick that falls into the Marvel formula of having some jokes being told here, leading up to an epic battle, having some conflicts between the heroes, things like that. It was really enjoyable, and I really did like it. Now, before you go crazy and say Benny's a fanboy, no. Like I said, there are problems with this movie. It is not God's gift to movies. This is not the first Avengers where you walk out of it and you're like, I can't see anything but the holy light of the Avengers. But you will walk out of this going, I want to see what's going to happen next in the DCEU. If Wonder Woman is a sign of things to come, and Justice League is a sign of them being willing to get on board with what we enjoyed about Wonder Woman, if this is showing us the direction that WB and DC want to take these films, then I want to see more of these films again. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next in the DCEU, and I feel like that's what I needed this movie to bring me. I felt like I needed that. I needed to be excited about DC movies again. I needed to be looking forward to the next movie. I came out of this excited about what's going to happen in Aquaman next year. Because while he had very little character development, he had enough to make you be like, I want to know what's going to happen to Aquaman next. It wasn't a trailer, it was a complete movie, but you get to know enough about him and his universe and Mara and all these characters that you're like, in 2018, I am going to be excited to go see Aquaman. And that's what we needed in the DCEU. Now, I do want to touch on one of the major complaints. The villain is known who he is. He's Steppenwolf. And one of the big things people are talking about is he is a weak villain. I'm going to let you know now, I agree with that, he is. But he's also extremely weak in the comics. This is a character that has almost no backstory, and he's basically a general that Darkseid sends in to set things up for Darkseid. And he's either killed or he's removed, and there's no real backstory to Steppenwolf, and that's who he is in the comics. So I don't really understand the complaints about there being a weak villain in this movie when he's a weak villain in the comics. He's not a strong character elsewhere. And I feel like this movie is so focused on introducing you to the League, to the members of the League, and giving them each enough time to give you motivation and character development, but not, and they're already cramming all of that for 5, 6, 7, 20 characters. They're cramming all of that into a movie that is, and making it so you care about each of the characters, that there's no room for a villain. So I'm actually happy they used a character like Steppenwolf, a weak villain, because I don't want them to waste it. I mean, side note, comparison to Age of Ultron, Ultron's one of my favorite villains in Marvel Comics, and he was wasted in Age of Ultron because they just turned him into a joke. I'd rather them use a lesser known, weaker villain for this so we don't waste someone epic in a movie that's focused on forming the League, which is what this movie's about. So that's basically it. There's not much more to say about this. Like I said, there's no real surprises in the movie. There isn't. You go into the movie, you're going to be expecting the usual superhero formula. The guys are going to come together, they're going to have a common goal, there's going to be some conflicts, there's going to be some funny jokes, they're going to tone all that back and give you the epic fights you wanted. The CGI gets a little questionable at times, the pacing is super fast. It's one of those movies where if you blink, you might miss something important because there's so much is crammed into the 2-hour period. But overall, great movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not the greatest movie ever, but I definitely am excited about the DCEU at this point, and I think that's all I wanted out of this movie. I just wanted to be excited again. Now, as I said, Gillette did bring me down here. They did this. That's why we have the races behind me right now, but they also brought me to the WB Studio Tour. So now we're going to put in some footage that I filmed going to the Justice League Museum that WB has, where all of the costumes and everything that has been out is now on the screen, and then I'm going to go to the Batmobile Museum, which is also at the WB Studio. Both of that's going to go on the end of this, so I hope you guys enjoy, and let me know in the comments down below what you think about the movie when it comes out. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to do a spoiler review, because there's not much to spoil. There's no reason to discuss the elements in it. I'm not a professional movie reviewer. I'm just a guy who enjoys comic book movies. Peace! Stole it from Rob.
What's up, man?